Like 10,000 legions marching, from the words of a Latter-day Saint hymn to the halls of the Missionary Training Center, a new generation is rising to accept the call. A prophet's voice brought the good news. Young men may begin serving missions at age 18.
He said it and I gasped, and my mom had to rewind it. Then, yeah, we were crying together.
It's just a wave of enthusiasm, the likes of which we haven't seen before.
Young women at age 19.
When I turned on conference and I was looking at my phone and checking Facebook, and I saw all these things like girls going on missions, and I was just overcome with emotion.
They are very effective. They get indoors that elders almost could never get into. It's going to be a great thing.
I think that we will look back and say those were days never to be forgotten.
So many are prepared to serve. It is time for a new MTC and new missions. They all usher in a new day for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
When you see all of the things that are happening in the history of the world coming together at this point in time, and you can see the Lord's hand in preparing the earth for these new missionaries.
They are a mighty band of youth. February 6th, 2013 will be remembered as an historic day at the Missionary Training Center in Provo, Utah. Never had so many young people arrived on the same day. Normally, the drop-off period lasts for 2 hours here along the curb, but today it'll be more like 3 because there are 812 young men and young women arriving. Eager, nervous, excited young men and women opened their car doors, felt the welcome greeting of host missionaries,
All right, so let's get your bags.
posed for one last photograph,
Okay, this one too.
embraced their loved ones, and took the first steps toward one of the greatest challenges and joys of their lives.
She was, I'm going, once they changed the age.
How's this experience?
It's bittersweet. Beautiful that she wants to serve the Lord, but it's hard to let him go.
One more embrace from Cheryl Daniels to her daughter Lindsay, who will serve in Morristown, New Jersey, Spanish-speaking.
As soon as they announced it, she made her doctor appointment, dentist appointment, got everything ready, and just said, I'm ready to go. So it was awesome.
It was probably one of the greatest experiences of life. And so, setting the missionary to do the Lord's work, it's pretty special.
The young people that come here, we're seeing a brightness in their countenance. We're seeing a happy missionary. We're seeing a joy in their countenance, and kind of joy you'd see with somebody who's getting baptized. It's almost like we have a modern generation of the armies of Helaman.
These young missionaries spend less time in the MTC. 9 weeks with language training is now 6. 3 weeks for English speaking or knowledgeable in a foreign language is 2. This campus was designed to accommodate 3,000 missionaries. Right now, there are 2,800, but by July of 2013, there will be 4,800. They now jam the cafeteria. Hours here have been extended to accommodate more missionaries.
The dining room is an experience. It's kind of fun. You just have to decide what you want and stick to that line and learn patience and meet new people every time. It's been incredible, actually. We've been here for about 8 weeks, so we've seen all of the changes that have happened. And there's an excitement, and we're all prepared and we're ready to sacrifice and to help in the hastening of the work.
President Lawn and Sister Kay Nally see an amazing transformation with younger missionaries arriving. 40% of the missionaries at the MTC are now young women. They have gone from 4 to a room to now 6 with an additional bunk bed. They just look on it as part of the adventure.
When the prophet came out and announced, I knew that was the answer. Like, that was an answer to my prayers. I need to go on a mission. And not only that, but I feel like this work is much needed right now.
President Monson came out in conference and lowered the age, and I looked back at my parents and I said, well, it looks like I'm going sooner.
It's exciting. There's just excitement going around everywhere. Everyone can just feel the Lord hastening His work for us, and it's an exciting time to be here.
And when it comes time to learning how to preach the gospel, these young missionaries go to classes. And the teacher in one of them is a returned missionary who is someone many of you have met a couple of years ago.
What are some things that we can do to establish an environment that invites the Spirit?
We last saw Sister Jennifer Frost as she was preparing to leave for her mission in New Zealand, starting in February 2011. Following her training at the MTC, she spent weeks on Temple Square in Salt Lake City. That experience prepared her for teaching moments at the Auckland, New Zealand Temple. When she returned, she wished to help other young missionaries prepare for their service.
I know that missionary work is so needed, that people need the teachings of Jesus Christ, and so if I can give that excitement and love to the missionaries, then I'd be really happy to have them go out and do the same and just really fulfill their purpose and help others know how loved they are by our Heavenly Father.
Sister Frost is excited for the young women, and she sees a difference in the 18 and 19-year-olds in the MTC.
It's very important that we kind of stress that.
They're very eager and teachable because they know that they're younger, and so they want to do everything they can to be up to par, so to speak.
Sydney Landine is the oldest of 3 daughters, the family's first missionary. She had decided to serve before President Monson's announcement. However, because of the changes, she will only be at the MTC for 14 days.
You are hereby called to serve as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You are assigned to labor in the Canada, Montreal.
Last week, I received a telephone call from the MTC. One of the French teachers there called to test my French. Looks like I passed because I'll only be there for 2 weeks. They'll put me in the accelerated track so that I can be in and out faster.
My name is Elder Lim. Do we have an elder or sister today? Sister. Sisters. What up?
What he said.
It seemed as though the time of preparation went quickly.
Well, it feels a lot like numbness. I feel like my whole body is kind of in a state of shock, but it's a good shock. It's what I need to be doing, and I feel confident that that's right, and I'm happy to be here.
The Landine's son, Travis, died in a car accident in 2007 at age 18. All of his friends served missions, remembering him called to serve on the other side. It made this moment that much more poignant.
It's just a year and a half. Yes. Come here.
With President Monson's new options for all these kids, or all these young men and young women, they've been prepared, and I would like to be the fly on the wall. They're going to have such great success.
She's going to have a great time here.
Bye. I love you.
It's actually a relief a little bit to get her down the sidewalk because we know now she's in God's hands. We've done all we could do to prepare her, but we're confident she's going to be an outstanding missionary.
And she is. Sister Landine arrived at the mission home a few weeks ago. Here she is with the missionaries in her district in Quebec City. She is speaking French and loving her experiences. She wrote, "Dear Mom and Dad, I'm ultra happy. The spirit is so strong here, and I'm excited about this whole new adventure. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sir," French for sister, Sydney Landine.
Young man who graduated from high school or its equivalent, regardless of where they live, will have the option of being recommended for missionary service beginning at the age of 18. Able, worthy young women who have the desire to serve may be recommended for missionary service beginning at age 19.
With strong and straightforward words, President Thomas S. Monson stood at the Conference Center pulpit on October 6, 2013, and very directly made it an historic day for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. All who heard his pronouncement then or later understood that a new era had begun.
Closing words of the Lord to
his apostles were take the gospel to every kindred, nation, tongue, and people. This has always been a minority position, even when Christ walked upon the earth. But now this message is going to get out. It's taken a long time for this wave to hit, but now it's here. And the Lord told us that would happen. He said, I will hasten my work in its day. So we get to watch it. We get to participate.
I don't know whether the whole church knows this or not, but that was developed so quietly going into conference that not only did the church membership not know, but most of the general officers of the church did not know. So if there were a few gasps in the audience, they only matched the gasps on the stand.
We had a little family gathering that evening, and my sweet granddaughters all clustered around me. They'd calculated the number of years and months and days till they were 19 years old. And
I have a granddaughter in the MTC right now who would not have been, 21 for some time. So it's in individual families as well as general authorities that we've felt this as grandpas and grandmas.
The apostles may be grandpas, but they are well aware of what happened on social media seconds after that announcement.
We know of many young ladies who texted their bishops in the conference. That Saturday afternoon session said, Bishop, I'm ready to go.
I'm not quite sure how these things get measured in the industry, but I'm told that the Twitter traffic immediately following that announcement was the highest in the industry on any subject for any reason.
On Twitter, on Facebook, the news went viral and remains so. And technology is playing a role in preparing these young people. How costly and slow it would be to try to get manuals to families throughout the world.
Putting a storehouse of information on the internet, and families and these young people themselves can draw what they need. The Lord's had these kinds of things in mind for a long time. We couldn't have done this. We couldn't talk about this kind of preparation in the home even 5 or 10 years ago.
But despite the initial excitement, some young Latter-day Saints remain unsure about if or when to serve. Others know they must raise enough money to support themselves.
It gives them an opportunity. It gives them a choice. We hope that there's no feeling of coercion. When we're swept up in a tide, sometimes we'd rather not swim. That option's still available for our dear sisters. We want them to see their full potential developed, long range.
The First Presidency and Quorum of the 12, they say, have studied this idea for years. 18-year-old young men have been serving in 48 countries throughout the world for the last 10 years because of university entrance and military qualifications in those nations. And this is not the first announced age change.
I arrived in the British mission as a newly called 20-year-old. The first 19-year-old in our mission was Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, an incredible addition.
I was in the first wave of 19-year-olds when that change was made in 1960. President Monson, as this was all being discussed with him and as he was giving leadership to it, we asked his opinion in this and all other matters about the age change, and he said, I was a mission president. I was presiding in Toronto when the 19-year-old change came, and we didn't miss a beat.
During a news conference following the first session of the October 2012 General Conference, Elder Nelson talked about what mission presidents have said about younger missionaries.
Response by the mission presidents has been universal. Give me more 18-year-olds. They do well. They're sweeter, they're purer, they're smarter.
And yes, they recognize challenges with younger missionaries, like homesickness, particularly with the young men who serve following high school graduation.
In many cases, in the U.S., for example, this might be their first time away from home. Leaving home's leaving home. We think they're going to be more than equal to it.
Elder Holland and Elder Nelson want young church members to understand that service, as challenging as it is for missionaries, brings strength and knowledge and blessings to their lives.
We see this as a way of getting better marriages, better families, better Latter-day Saints, long range. And they will become mothers, they will become fathers, they will become grandparents, and they will be rooted in the doctrine of the Lord Jesus Christ. And what a wonderful background that is for marriage, parenthood, career. It will be a stronger society because of this change.
Sister Kristen Fulbright from Redmond, Washington, and Sister Julia Willis from Joplin, Missouri are serving their missions in the Salt Lake Valley. On this day, Tiffany Ellis joins them. Future missionaries sometimes follow in the footsteps of those assigned to their area as they go door to door talking about the restored gospel.
I feel so blessed to be a missionary right now. It's so cool to be able to see the differences between being a missionary before the age change and now seeing all these new girls come in, or the excitement of these new girls.
I think part of it is just that everyone around these ages are excited for missionary work now. That's what they're thinking about, and that's what they're preparing for. This generation coming up is, I think, far more prepared than I was.
Even before the announcement, Tiffany had a feeling she would be serving before age 21. She's learned so much from the sister missionaries.
It's just an amazing experience to be able to see the influence that the gospel has in people's lives, and I could see the difference that it made.
When she is not working with the sister missionaries, Tiffany is practicing her Polish, one of the most challenging languages.
Słoneczne.
Did you check everything out?
Yep.
Is there anything left in the library?
I don't think so. Poland has such a history of courage and dedication and determination.
Tiffany comes from generations of missionaries. Her grandparents have served, and she's the 5th missionary in the immediate Ellis family, following both parents and 2 older brothers. Now it's Tiffany and soon Cameron.
Back a few years ago, I had the feeling that my kids would serve earlier than 21 and 19. And now we know why.
I think the Lord is increasing His effort in the missionary work. I think He's ratcheting it up another notch or 2. And He has faith in these young men and women as well.
Many of the young women who are choosing to serve missions at age 19 are the oldest children in their families. And they're now leaving on missions before younger brothers who are also planning to serve.
Next one says, "Wow, you're coming to my home. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like John, thanks for serving. We are a little place."
Amber Lewis is getting to know the Latter-day Saints in her mission months before she arrives. She posted video of the moment she opened her letter on Facebook.
"You are assigned to labor in the Canada Halifax mission." I remember leaning forward and I went like this. I was like, "What about the girls? What about the girls?" I was so excited when he announced it, and immediately the Spirit just hit me like that, and I knew I needed to go. It feels huge. I feel like we're on a brink of something huge. We don't even realize the impact we're going to have on people yet. It's going to be big, and it feels incredible.
Amber's mission is something quite wonderful to parents who are converts to the faith. Her mother, Andrea, was baptized just before her 16th birthday in Arizona. Close family friends introduced her to the gospel and the missionaries. She remains the only church member in her family.
Everything that she does is the first time it's ever happened for me as a mother. And it's really neat just knowing that here she is, and her first choice as an adult is to serve the Lord. That feels really good.
Amber's father was 10 years old and living in Massachusetts when his family joined the church. He served his mission in Paris.
To see it accelerate and become larger and fill the earth is a fascinating thing, and to think that our own child is going to be part of filling the earth and reaching out to the people in Canada, it's a real privilege as a father.
The oldest of 8 children, Amber's choice to serve has influenced her siblings.
I've been wanting to go on a mission for a long time, but ever since she got her call and has been working towards that, I was really excited for my mission to come.
It's a good choice.
Are you going to miss her?
Kind of leaning towards yes.
Jill Wallen will finish her first year at BYU and leave to serve in Cusco, Peru in June 2013.
It's a common topic among a lot of girls. It's like, oh, are you going on a mission? It's not, do you think you'll go on a mission? It's, are you going on a mission? And so it's a lot more approachable topic because it's not, oh, are you getting married? It's, are you going on a mission?
The Wallens, Randy and Suk, have 2 other children, John 17 and Megan 13. The focus has shifted in their home too. Before long, they will have 2 missionaries.
I feel like everyone has kind of upped their game a little and has taken these things a little more seriously, where, you know, senior year was your year to kind of goof off, and now it's like we're actually going to be using these tools that we're learning.
Well, and I just see the boys that have already, you know, got their call, the young men, they've already changed their mindset too, I think, and that they're looking forward to it and just growing up that much faster.
It's helped me learn that preparing for a mission isn't going to be easy, but it sounds like it's going to be really worth it.
Recently, Jill got together with friends for photos with the flags of the countries where they will serve. Jill sees this time as a period of personal growth as well.
I hope that I can help bring people into Christ and grow in that myself, not only helping them come into the gospel, but help me grow within it. And so I think that's a really great opportunity for both me and for the people that I'll be serving.
These young women from the sandy granite stake will all soon be serving missions somewhere in the world. They gathered one more time to support each other and to raise their voices in an expression of faith. On March 8th, 2013, family members and friends gathered to watch 2 cousins, best friends from childhood, open their mission calls. Stephen and Josh Pinnock live in the Salt Lake Valley and simply have done everything together. Now it is time to serve.
I've grown up in the church. I love the church. It's enlightened my life, and I've seen my siblings serve missions, and it's made me want to go on a mission with no question in my mind. I want to be able to feel that spirit and to share it with others.
Dear Elder Pinnock, you are hereby called to service as a missionary of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You are assigned to labor in the Italy Milan mission.
Screams of joy erupted for Stephen. Then it was time for Josh.
My brother just got back from his mission in August, so he's been an amazing example for me. My sister got her call, and then my grandma and grandpa are already on their mission right now, so it's just been one example after another.
You were assigned to learn in Italy?
Yes, both will serve in Milan, Italy.
We both took Italian as a class.
In sophomore year, but
so yeah.
I don't know how much that helped,
but it gives us a nice jump start, I guess.
And another loving hug for 2 who will now enter the MTC on the same day, July 24th, and go forth to serve just as they have done everything else, together. They feel the confidence of the prophet.
It kind of makes us feel like we are a new chosen generation. He feels like that we are ready to share the gospel at an earlier age.
I've seen all my friends, even today and yesterday and the day before, and all these weeks get their mission call, and they're all just so happy. I mean, I know that this generation can do it.
The story of the Pinnock cousins is repeating itself throughout the world. Siblings, friends, classmates, called to serve in the same place. The excitement is palpable.
Not only does a prophet of God reach out to a certain generation, but that generation reaches out back to him and to their Heavenly Father. As they just say, absolutely, yes.
So many future missionaries were inside the conference center when President Monson announced the age changes. Among them, Lindsay Castleton.
I am absolutely ecstatic. I have been dreaming about this day my whole life.
She came home and she called the executive secretary 3 times. Why isn't he answering his phone? Doesn't he know that I've got to talk to the bishop? I just think it's absolutely incredible.
Lindsay is the 4th missionary of the 8 Castleton children. Dave and Cindy noticed an immediate change among her school friends and throughout the neighborhood.
It was kind of like when they got together and talked about a win in a soccer game. They were talking about now going and serving the Lord.
But as stake president, David Castleton, like his counterparts throughout the world, is incredibly busy, interviewing prospective missionaries nearly every day. Many more of them are young women.
We've never had this many with their calls all at one time. We have 35 with their calls ready to go out. 18 are sisters, 17 are elders. This first wave, these are those that are saying, I'm ready, I want to go. And it reminds me of the Savior when he called Peter and Andrew, fishermen, and the Savior said, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. And it says, and straightway they left their nets and followed him. And that's what this group is.
Just weeks before she left for Viña del Mar, Chile, we found now Sister Castleton in the MTC. It is everything she expected and more.
Just from the moment I walked in and to see all those young men lined up, this is God's army. This is Him calling us to the ranks, and we are on the front line. And it's an amazing feeling.
Only when we receive baptism and the gift of the Holy Ghost can we receive.
Before Ben Katzenbach left for the MTC and his mission in Monterrey, Mexico, he took the lead every Monday night to teach the lesson during family home evening and take as much bonding time as possible with new baby brother Nicholas. Like many Latter-day Saints of his generation, when the prophet speaks, he listens.
Him telling the youth that we can do it younger, that he thinks we're ready, it was really big, and I was like, wow, all that responsibility on us. It was a really special thing for him to tell us that.
Ben's parents have taught each son from an early age what being a missionary means. Now that his dad, Sam, is the bishop, that extends to others.
The bottom line on missions is it's a service opportunity. And, you know, if we can go out and just help just one person find the gospel, you know, how valuable that is, how important.
The influence of an older brother with a mission focus is affecting 10-year-old Zach and 14-year-old Josh.
I think I just see them taking it all in, drinking it all in, and thinking, oh, what's it going to be like for me, and where am I going to go, and wanting to follow in his footsteps.
Now I think I can just go get out of high school, turn my papers in, and then I think I can go.
I have to be an example, and even when I'm alone, I have to stand up for what's right.
That kind of courage, church leaders say, is what so many young Latter-day Saints possess. This message, at this time, is for them.
I hope they understand that the prophet of God loves them and trusts them. And he trusts them now. Before they go, he trusts them when they enter the MTC to do the preparation that they should do there. And he's going to trust them as the Lord's ambassadors to the world. And the Lord himself loves this generation.
Are hereby called to serve as a missionary?
As a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
You are assigned to labor in the Bolivia Senate.
In the Sweden stop.
The desire to serve missions is not only the talk of the faith and the focus of so many thousands of young people, it has gone viral. 80 students from the 2012 graduating class of Salt Lake's Olympus High School stepped into the fervor and posted many of their calls on Facebook. Some of their classmates are already serving missions, others are in the MTC now. But 26 of that original group came together to share their stories of unity and faith.
I've always wanted to go on a mission, and as soon as they changed the age, I just jumped on board and I was ready to go.
I'm Josh DeGraw, and I will be serving in the Romania/Moldova mission.
I was watching conference with my mom when I heard the announcement, and she just looked at me and she was crying. She's like, "Are you gonna go?" I was like, "Yeah."
These young people represent the tens of thousands of others throughout the world who feel inspired to preach the restored gospel. And in just one class, they will nearly cover the globe with their assignments.
I have been called to serve in the Scotland-Ireland mission. I didn't know I wanted to go on a mission until they made the announcement, and immediately when I heard it, I knew that I was going to go.
I got really excited, not for me, but for all my friends who were wanting to serve missions. And then later that day, I was looking in the mirror. It's kind of embarrassing, but I looked in the mirror and all of a sudden I saw a missionary.
Sister Elaine Dalton, Young Women General President for the last 5 years, believes she and others were inspired to improve the church curriculum and prepare these teenagers for the opportunities to serve.
It was really quite thrilling to hear a prophet of God call these youth to begin the work that they've really been reserved and prepared to do. It's really amazing.
Sister Dalton recalls Elder David Bednar urging the youth to become acquainted with the spirit of Elijah during General Conference in October 2011. He wanted them to be involved in family history research and then attend the temple.
I recall the day after we had been sustained in General Conference, going with my counselors, Sister Dibb and Sister Cook, and hiking Ensign Peak. And when we got to the top of that peak, we looked out over the city and I said to them, "What do you see? Do you see the same thing I see?" And they said, "Yes, we see the temple." And we stood there and we said, that is the vision. That is what the Lord wants for these young women.
Did you choose to focus on specifics? I can think of your push toward virtue, to prepare these young people for such a time as this?
The addition of the value of virtue has been so helpful for them, because part of doing that value is to read the Book of Mormon. And every one of them say, when we finish reading the Book of Mormon, looking for specifics, having virtue in mind, we're changed.
What are you hearing from them about the desire or already the preparation and they're about to leave to go on missions?
There were so many young women who have talked to me and said, "Oh, Sister Dalton, I have had stirrings within me. I've had feelings that I should prepare, and I haven't known why, because it hasn't made any sense." And then they'll say, "It's the minute I heard the announcement, I knew it was for me." Isn't that amazing?
My story kind of started before the announcement. I had received a scholarship to play softball in Virginia, and I was full set on going, and I just felt like it wasn't right and that I should just stay in Utah. I felt like I needed to be ready for General Conference, and I had that thought distinctly in my mind, and so I prepared. And all my friends texted me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like the age changed," and that week was actually my birthday. I turned 19 the next day. And it was so weird how everything in my life just clicked, like what I was supposed to be doing. And I had realized I've been preparing for a mission for over a year.
Each young man or young woman has a unique story and spiritual confirmation. They want to go forth and share what they know, what they love.
So my message is just remember who you are and what the Lord expects you to do.
The thousands of young Latter-day Saints who are choosing to serve missions sooner have created a ripple effect for colleges and universities throughout Utah in particular. Brigham Young University administrators are anticipating making adjustments in campus life, from course offerings to housing. With the announcement will certainly come many more changes on this campus, but right now, the biggest difference is happening with the missionary prep classes. In the fall of 2012, BYU offered 12 sections of the missionary prep classes. That included 800 students. In winter of 2013, it more than doubled to 26 sections.
So we had 2,000 students enrolled and more than 2,000 that couldn't get in the sections just because we didn't have enough teachers and classrooms for that. So that tells you the surge of interest there.
What are the 4 basic guidelines of missionary health?
Fall semester, about 90% of the students in missionary preparation were young men. This semester, about 80% of the students are young women.
At church, on campus, everywhere, with all of these girls who are able to go now, and it just kind of, I think, gives missionary work this new power.
Okay, grab a companion. Would one of you ask this question and one of you answer it? Okay, ready, set, and go.
I'm a recent convert to the church. I've only been a member for about a year and a half. So basically about a year ago, I decided that I wanted to serve because I saw how missionary work affected my life.
They can step right up and receive a call and step out into the mission field and teach really with the Spirit. These are wonderful young people. They'll do a terrific job.
Utah Valley University, a public institution, is also feeling the effects of fewer students.
I sat there and I was as shocked as anybody, and my first thought was about my oldest son, who's 15 and was now going to be leaving sooner, and that made us all a bit emotional. And after that, I thought about what was going to happen to my freshman class at UVU.
Even winter 2013 brought fewer students, down perhaps 2 to 3%. But in the fall, UVU may see a decline of 6 to 7%.
One of our messages is to students, and I think I can speak for many of my colleagues in the system, is to say, please apply. Even if you're going on a mission, get into the system. Let us hold your spot. Let us hold your scholarships. Let us work with you so it's easier on reentry. We're also looking, and for UVU, this is kind of a first for us, is some fairly serious out-of-state recruiting.
Latter-day Saints at UVU have the Orem Institute on campus, and they echo the same sentiments as many others. Once President Monson made the announcement, the idea of missionary work caught fire. These young people have their calls. Nate Church, West Indies, Dutch-speaking. Josh Brown, Antofagasta, Chile. Savvy Nielsen, Pocatello, Idaho, Spanish-speaking. And Kylie Adams, Charlotte, North Carolina.
It took about 3 months for me to get make my final decision, and after just a lot of praying and fasting, I just knew that this was what I was supposed to do.
President Monson, I mean, it's a call to arms. He wants us out there. He wants us serving. The Lord wants us out there spreading His gospel, and so that inspires me.
I'm really super excited to go and just be in North Carolina and just focus on preaching the gospel.
Every single day in the hallway I come and I find someone else who has a different mission called us somewhere in the world. They're going to Russia, or they're going to Cambodia, or they're going to South America somewhere sweet. It's just been such a great spirit to come and be so happy hearing about all the missions and all the mission calls. It's super exciting.
The precision of the Lone Peak men's basketball team is a thing of beauty. In 2013, this group became the top-ranked high school team in the country. The young men credit this kind of unity to their faith. We spoke with 6 starters. 4 are preparing to serve missions now, 2 are waiting a year.
Reading scriptures together at night is something that has really brought us closer together, and I'm just really lucky to be a part of it.
Every time we won a game, on the way back on the bus, we were singing primary songs.
They told me even as they separate, they will simply be now joining the Lord's team.
Well, I've heard from like TJ's brother Tyler that from a Fireside, he's like, the name tag is the best thing you'll ever put on. He's like, that's the best team you'll ever be on. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to it.
Represent the church well and to touch the lives of someone at least. And if not, then we still know we did it the right way.
The state championship trophy in 5A for the Beat Diggers will travel to Sandy and Jordan High School.
Aaron Rapenna's tackles are serious business, but he will soon be on the Lord's team as well. He and a number of teammates on the Jordan High School football team will leave once they graduate. His decision to serve happened immediately after President Monson's announcement.
He was sitting on one couch and I was sitting on the other couch, and as President Monson gave his message, I gasped, but he was like, yes. And I thought, no. But he said, Mom, there's got to be a reason why.
He needs me earlier. He needs me now. And that feeling was great, to know that the Lord needs you.
These young men and thousands of young men and women are the reason for changes. In February of 2013, the First Presidency announced the creation of 58 new missions, a realignment of existing missions. They span the globe, 5 in Africa, 2 in Asia, 3 in Central America, 8 in Mexico, 17 in the U.S. and Canada, 15 in South America, including 7 in Brazil, 3 in the Pacific, 4 in the Philippines, and 1 in Europe.
There's never been a time that I'm aware of in the history of the church where anything like that has typically been announced. It's been a few here, a few there, and this will then go from 347 missions to 405 missions in one moment in time about July 1st this coming summer.
The question of where and how to train so many missionaries brought the decision from church leaders to transform the church-owned high school in Mexico City. Benemérito de las Américas has housing for 2,100, and after graduation in June of 2013, will become the new MTC for missionaries serving in North, Central, and South America. Currently, the church has 15 MTCs throughout the world. Benemérito will replace an older one in Mexico.
It's interesting to watch the Lord at work. For 49 years, we've had this school in Mexico City. And then when this flood of missionaries came, there was this campus. Dormitories, cafeterias, teaching places, it's all there.
We have to capitalize on our Provo space the best we can. We've got other international MTCs we'll have to expand, but nothing as dramatic as the Benemérito conversion.
Church leaders and MTC administrators are now reviewing options with Provo city leaders and neighbors that would approximately double the capacity of this MTC. Some missionaries will now live and study in the Raintree Commons apartments and portions of the BYU-owned Y-View Park apartments in Provo. Since January 1st, 2013, 1,400 new missionaries are being called every week. And from October 2012 to right now, April 2013, the number of missionaries has increased from 58,500 to 64,500, the highest number ever in the history of the church. For calls made since January 1st, 2013, 57% are elders. Sisters were 15%, they are now 36%, and 7% are senior couples.
They exude the love of Christ and that charity that just helps people feel the love of God in their life.
Bruce Wynn is president of the Utah Salt Lake City Mission. Right now there are 200 to 250 missionaries, but within a year this mission will split because there will be 500 missionaries. And there are 25 languages spoken in this mission.
The fact that we have the Mormon moment and the church is much more known than it's ever been throughout not only this country but throughout the world. It's certainly no accident, and the Lord's taking advantage of those things to take all of these missionaries into the world.
Andrew Kenny will leave in June to serve in Rome, Italy. He and his brothers Mitchell, Nathan, and Braden have been taught about the importance of missions and service. Now the focus is greater.
Have the home be more of an MTC and have them ready to go, and it's an excitement, but it is definitely a little more focus on what we can do here.
That puts some pressure on us to raise the bar in our house and all the things that we do to prepare them.
For me, it started back in primary where you sing, they call me, I hope they call me on a mission. Every morning we would read scriptures and work and preach my gospel. So that's where the desire grew.
My friends and I have tried to go to the temple. We try to go every Friday morning, and it's really brought me closer to my Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ.
I'm so blessed to grow up in a family with the gospel fluently in it, and I know that it's true and that so many people need to learn.
But I think it'll also help the missionary, myself, come closer to God and maybe receive answers about what I will do later on in life.
This will be something that not only blesses them and the people they teach, but it will bless them forever. It'll bless their children, it'll bless their grandchildren, it will bless their marriage.
Something amazing has happened at this time in the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. An army of faith, younger and stronger, better prepared and ready, is filled with desire to share knowledge of the restored gospel with all the world. They are a mighty band of youth.